Good to know. All right, so thank you guys for coming today. We're going to talk about the mining industry, so cover some different parts of the mining industry. First, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. So I'm Jaymie Donovan. I've been in the mining industry for over 16 years now. I'm currently the community relations manager for Orla Mining here locally. But in my career, I started my career out in safety and health, working for P&H Mine Pro, which is now Komatsu here locally, building P&H shovels out at the local companies. Then I moved into human resources. In community, I learned that employee relations is hard, really hard. So I left that. Then I went into community relations at Newmont. And community relations and then communications, kind of a mix with that with Newmont and Nevada Gold Mines, and then going back into community relations with Orla. So that's me. I was raised in Elko, so I've been here from first grade at Northside Elementary here. And as we talked a little bit earlier, I've got two kiddos, Jack and Perry Joe, that keep me on my toes. And it's funny, we talk about, within the mining industry, we talk about, the community, like school kids not knowing what we do in the industry. So we do a lot of educational activities with the kiddos, but adults in the community not knowing what we do in the industry as well if they're not directly involved or have never visited one of the mine sites. So that's something that I try to do with my kiddos, is make sure they know what I do, and my husband also works in the mining industry, knowing what we do. And one day I came home, or I went to pick up my daughter, and I was running a little bit late, and she's like, "Mom, it's okay, I told everybody you got stuck underground." Please don't tell people I got stuck underground.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think I've been underground like 8 times in my whole career, right? It's not like I've never been an underground miner. I've been there, I know what it looks like, but no. And yeah, it's okay. I told everybody you got stuck underground. Cool, that's great. So, but I think that's something we talk about with our employees in the industry, is go home and tell your kids what you do. Tell them, where you work and how the industry has, impacted your family and supported your family. With the women in mining, we just did a presentation at the high school here locally, and talking to high school seniors here in Elko, asking, how many have family members or parents that work in the industry, and quite a few raise their hands, and then you ask them what they do, what their parents do, or where they work, and they don't know. And that's just surprising to me as seniors in high school, not knowing what their parents do at all, right? I think they should have a general understanding of what their parents do as a career. So that's a bit about me. And then I just wanted to learn a bit about the folks in the room. I know there are some folks here that come from the mining industry, but if you could tell us your name, the company that you work for, your role, and then maybe involvement with the industry, knowledge of the industry, or misconceptions about the mining industry. That one's the most interesting one to me. So maybe before you got into the industry, if you had some misconceptions that you'd like to share, and then we can work through those. So I'll go start with Melissa.
Oh, you didn't give me much time.
Okay, that's okay. No pressure.
Hi there, I'm Melissa Schultz. I'm with Nevada Gold Mines. I'm a community engagement and development manager. I manage our statewide strategic partnerships. I've been in mining for 6 years now. Prior to that, I was in nonprofit management. I worked with communities and schools as their executive director. I think my misconception was really, I didn't understand the amount of money that mining contributes to our state economically, and the amount of investments that they make in local programming and nonprofits. So it was really an eye-opener once you get in and see what the investments look like. And it makes me really proud to be in this industry.
Thank you.
I'm Jenny Addy. I work for Orla Mining. I'm the senior environmental coordinator. I guess technically I've been in mining for about 2 years, but I was an environmental consultant for a long time, so I off and on did work with various mines. I don't know. My involvement in the past before I joined Orla was in permitting, so I know a lot about permitting from big to little.
Thank you.
Taylor Thompson, I'm with Kinross out at Bald Mountain.
and I've been in mining for about 6 years. I'm originally not from here. Can't hide. And I'm from a small mining town in Australia. It used to be a little barrack town, and that's what brought me to Elko, the connection there. Met my husband in high school over there, and that's what brought me here. To me, growing up in a mining town, I kind of knew a little bit about the mines, but both of my parents didn't work in the mining industry, so I'm a first generation miner, if you put it like that. And I guess being on this side of things, working in human resources, you get to see how this really shifts and changes people's lives, and you wish that more people could have that same opportunity. And I didn't know that growing up. Mum and Dad didn't. They were just a support service for the mines. So, yeah, it's been really interesting.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
So my name is Kara Zucchino. I'm actually a pharmacist taking a different approach.
Okay.
There is a position open at Golden House, which is run by Walgreens. And so I tailor a lot of the miners, but wanted to learn it. And if you know anything about my industry, it's pretty stressful. So my pastor this week, Nathan Hornback, was talking about mining and how chemistry is involved. So he had sent me here to learn what you guys may be able to do for me, because it may not be like a full-time position, but there may be something like part-time that I could tailor some of my expertise of learning what mining does. I moved here a year ago for the job, and sometimes things are falling through and people are merging, and so I'm trying to diverse and try to see where I could fit in, because I do love Elko, and this was one of the first places I came to that kind of explained to me a little bit about mining. And I'm passionate about so many people that come in and leave and come in, and I'd like to just learn more.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for being here.
Katie Ashley with the Elko Area Chamber. I'm our membership coordinator. I grew up in Elko most of my life. A lot of my family members work in the mines, but I don't know, I guess I know about as much as the chamber knows.
Thank you.
My name's Caitlin. I'm here to learn more about the mining industry. I moved here from California, so I'm not familiar a lot with mining and anything.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks for being here.
I'm Billy Crapo. I'm with the Elko Area Chamber. I'm the CEO. I've actually been with the chamber now for 18 years. But I've always lived in mining communities. I grew up in a mining community in northern Idaho. My first husband and I moved from there to Arizona to work for mines, and then came here almost 30 years ago. So mining has always been part of my life in one shape or form. I think some of the misconceptions that I had when my husband first started working underground, that it was like small and dark and little holes. And so it's a whole different world. And when you came here, and it was always shaft mines. So when you come here, when you see these big trucks that go underground and those kind of things, it's different feeling. But I also understand the importance of mining in a community, 100%. So.
Thanks.
I'm Kitty, and I am the General Sales Manager at Global One Media. I have lived here 27 years. We moved here from Reno, and I had no idea what mining did for a community. I didn't even know when I moved to Nevada that it was called the Silver State. So, well, we mine gold, why is it the Silver State? But anyways, I've learned a lot. I've learned about the support system that has to go in. I worked for Vogue for 9 years. So the uniforms and I don't think people realize how many support structures have to be there for it to all work together. So thanks, Jaymie, for being here.
Sure, we're happy to be here. All right.
So my name's Gil Sargent, and I started in mining 39 years ago. I was an electrician, came from Wyoming after one of the boom and bust cycles. Came to work here, worked as an electrician, then made supervisor, then made general foreman. Then I was a project manager. We built the first underground mine here in northeastern Nevada called Carlin East, and we put all the structures into that. I then worked as a superintendent in processing. I worked as a superintendent in underground. And my last gig was a role in business excellence, which I really liked that part. It was how to get from here to there in the least amount of resistance. So I retired 3 years ago and had some people come to me. They wanted help doing what I like to do, getting from here to there. So I help people, I help individuals with visions that they want to achieve. I help people with maybe if they need to learn some coping skills and got some issues going on. And I help businesses with performance and with teaming sessions. So I've been around a long time and seen a lot. And I know I don't know nothing. I've got a lot more to learn. So that's why I'm here.
All right. Well, thank you all. Thanks for taking your time today to be here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about women in mining because that's something I'm passionate about. We'll talk about modern mining, so developing and permitting a mine. So as Jenny mentioned, that's what she lives and breathes and does every day. The mining cycle, exploration to closure, minerals in Nevada and their uses, the benefits to the state, like Melissa mentioned, to state and local communities, mining career opportunities, and then we'll have some updates from local mining companies for you all. So women in mining, mining has been around for a very, very long time. And at one point in history, it was considered very bad luck to have a female miner, especially underground. They have these beliefs and things that having women in the mining industry was dangerous and bad luck. And it's still a male-dominated industry. I think depending on the organization, you're looking at about 10-15% or so of female representation in the mining industry. But there's an organization for women in mining that does supports the women in the industry and their allies. So you don't have to necessarily be a female to be part of that group. But we just hosted here in Elko the National Women in Mining Conference in April, and that's a national conference. We had people coming in from all over the world for this conference, and we had over 500 women or people. There were men and women at the conference, and one of the highest attended conferences that they had hosted. Which is great for the industry, great for the organization, and great for Elko, because I would imagine with it being so successful, it will come back to Elko again. So that's good for our communities, it's good for our businesses, it brings, it's another opportunity to bring people to the Elko area that may not have come here otherwise. So, but they support the industry, support the women, and we've got a local Nevada mining, Women in Mining Nevada chapter that we work together to do educational activities and things like that here locally. So here's a quick video that'll just show you a bit about Mining 101 and information that I can.
From the discovery of gold and silver at Pikes Peak, Colorado, and Nevada's Comstock Lode in 1859, new mineral deposits were discovered throughout the West, resulting in a flood of prospectors looking to strike it rich. As mining has modernized, the industry has seen several advancements and regulations that transformed mining and created a focus on safety culture and environmental stewardship. Many people believe the misconception that modern mining is dangerous and dirty, but a lot has changed since the boom towns, and now the mining industry is one of the most advanced and safest. The Mine Act of 1977 created the Mine Safety and Health Administration, MSHA, which works to keep miners safe and healthy in the workplace. The industry also works with state and federal agencies to set environmental standards. Reclamation is the process of restoring or improving land after mining has ceased. In fact, a project cannot open without a reclamation and closure plan in place, ensuring the land can be enjoyed by future generations.
Video that was produced by the Nevada Mining Association, which is also another organization that we have within the state that has so much information about the mining industry. All you have to do is go to their website, and they've got videos, and they have one-pager handouts, all sorts of information about the industry that can help people better understand. So before we can start mining, we have to go through the permitting process. So any company, any individual, we can't just go out and just start mining, right? There's so many steps that we have to go through to get there. So we develop a plan of operations, and that talks about that, goes over like the geographical area that we're going to be using for the operation for mining. And then we put together a notice of intent, so that's the notice that we plan to mine in that area. We have development of consultation of EIS, which is environmental impact statements, and there are so many that have to be done. I don't for Orla, so we're currently permitting our mine here. We have 21 environmental impact, or no, SERs.
Yeah.
That go into that piece, and it can be anywhere. There's water, there's wildlife, there's cultural artifacts, all, so many different reports that have to be done that go into this EIS. Then, once the packet is complete, it goes to state BLM. So we go to our state level BLM offices for review and approval. Then after they review and approve it, then it goes to the federal BLM offices for their review and approval. Depending on who you talk to or how long it takes, it's a long process to go through, first getting it done, then going through the review and approval. I was actually just in Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago with our general manager, meeting with federal level stakeholders to introduce our projects to them, so they know that it's coming their way, hopefully, before the end of the year, and know who we are. But even talking to some of the folks at the federal level, because we met with the BLM, we met with members of Congress, we met with the Department of Energy, Department of Natural Resources, and talking to them, nobody really seems to know who all reviews that, because we're at hey, who has to look at this? Like, who has to review it? Who has to approve it? And we couldn't get a straight answer from anybody, so I'm not sure if they don't know. Like, I feel like, honestly, because we met with the National Mining Association folks there as well, and they're very, very helpful, and they want us to be successful in the mining industry, obviously. And even those folks, there wasn't, I'm looking for like a flow chart, right? It goes here and it goes here and it goes here, and there was nothing that existed that would really say, like, at the federal level, who has to approve these types of projects before then you can break ground and start construction. So it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, and we are, as mining companies, doing our due diligence before we break ground and build a mine in any area. I only know how we do it in Nevada, but I'm sure it's similar in other states as well. This will talk about development.
Mining for gold may appear to be a profitable endeavor based on high gold prices, but there's more to mining than most people know. Many factors influence the price of gold, including supply, demand, and investor behavior. With an understanding that gold prices fluctuate, mines plan their operations to weather the highs and lows of a complicated industry that requires significant planning and upfront investment. Before a shovel breaks ground, a mine must go through a lengthy and expensive permitting process that can take as long as a decade to complete. At the same time, mines are also purchasing some of the largest pieces of equipment in the world. Depending on the projected size of the mine, the investment on equipment alone can run into the mid-8 figures. Additionally, mines are staffed by a skilled workforce that commands the highest average salary in Nevada. It can take up to 20 years and up to $1 billion of investment before a mine has the proper permitting equipment and staff to begin production. Want to dig up more facts about Nevada mining? Visit nevadamining.org.
So to just pause there, so it talked about the fluctuation of gold price, right? So can anybody tell me what the price of gold is today? Or right now?
$24.75 an ounce.
Ooh.
So pretty close to that.
Yeah. So Kitty, I'm gonna give you a prize.
Oh, look at you.
So yeah, so it's, I checked it right before we started. It's
24.20.
24.20. Yeah, 24.29. So it fluctuates just like, you watch the stock market or whatever, right? It goes up and down and up and down. So that impacts, that price of gold, right, impacts us as mining companies. And if anybody was in Elko in the late 90s, early 2000s, I think it was like 98, 97, I was in high school, but gold dropped down to $200 an ounce. So at that point, I think in Elko you couldn't give houses away. Newmont and Barrick both at the time did major layoffs. my dad worked for Barrick at the time. Luckily, he was able to keep his job, and we were able to stay in Elko and continue forth with our mining careers. But it is something that you hear, like that boom and bust that you mentioned, Gil, where even in Nevada or in Elko, where companies don't necessarily, they're afraid to come here and build or put their businesses here in Elko because they have no idea about the mining industry, and they hear that boom and bust thing, and of course they don't want to open a new store in a town that's a mining industry, and they're afraid, 2 years down the road, gold prices drop and everybody's gone. But my dad retired from Barrick after a 30-year career, a few years ago. So the Carlin Trend, which is, that's where Barrick and Newmont, Nevada Gold Mines now, their operations lie, been in mining there for a very, very, very long time. And not to say it's not going to last forever, but we continue to do exploration work, we continue to permit new growth projects, new mines, and it's not that boom and bust type, town that you see in some of those smaller places. And I would imagine some of the, where they did mining years and years ago, I would guess that there was placer gold, which is the gold that you can see. There's more gold there. I would venture to guess that maybe hasn't yet been discovered. So it's yes, we watch the price of gold, but as companies like this video showed, it costs a lot of money to do what we do. And people think like, oh, price of gold is $2,500 an ounce or $3,000 an ounce or whatever it is. But the cost of, the electricity, the fuel for the equipment, the people, right, paying for their salaries and all of those things, it's a big cost. So it's what can we do as mining industry or mining companies to keep our costs as low as possible? So then when the price of gold does go up, that's more income for the mining companies. We definitely we're watching that and paying attention to those prices of gold all the time. So the mining cycle, so mentioned on the video, it can, permitting a mine can be up to a decade or more. It takes so much time to work through that process. And then you have your exploration piece. So like Orla, for example, we are currently exploring, we're doing exploration work. So you do exploration work, then you have your development, 1 to 5 years, your operation 10 to 30, just depends. And usually when you start your first mine, you have your mine life set, 8 to 10 years, 10 to 12 years. You can't go, you can't put it in the permitting out too far because you don't really know what's going to happen, right, with the price of gold and things like that. But most of them, or a lot of them, end up lasting longer than we had initially thought in the first place. And then mine closure, decommissioning, and then reclamation and post-closure. Like one of the videos mentioned, that's part of your plan going into it, right? Is having that reclamation and post-closure plan put into place. And that's something I think is a misconception amongst communities in general, or people in general, is that the mining companies just go, wherever they go, they destroy the land and then they leave. And that's not the case, or at least it's not the case anymore. You have, in the state of Nevada, you have to have the money already set aside for reclamation before mining. So in that case, say Orla or Nevada Gold Mines or whoever says, hey, we're out of here, then the state already has the money for the reclamation before, so it gets rid of that opportunity for companies to leave places unreclaimed. And I think that's a great thing that they do, and not that any of these companies that are here working currently would do anything like that, but it allows the state to be more confident in the fact that these mines will be reclaimed to a usable state regardless of what happens with the mining company. So minerals in your daily life. So more than 150 years, Nevada's mine's been producing minerals that are key to what we do every single day. And I know I'm preaching to the choir to some of the folks in here, and I believe most of the people in Elko County anyway are supportive of the mining industry. But you step outside of Elko County, or maybe you go to different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and not only people are not aware of the mining industry or understand the industry, but then anti-mining. Mining has a pretty bad rap, which is unfortunate. And when you watch television, the things that you see, anything you see that's mining related is negative, or it's depicting the old mining, like the Alaska Mining TV show, if anybody's seen that show. Or I just saw on TV, I happen to be watching like regular TV, not streaming TV, and so commercials are on, and there was this commercial about life insurance, and it's got these two guys, and they're underground in a mine, and they've got hard hats on, and they're like, "We struck gold," and the thing falls down. I'm like, what is this? Like, it was the worst commercial I've ever seen. But like, no, like this is on like, regular TV commercials that all the people in the world see. I'm like, no, that's not what the mining industry looks like. And doing tours with some of the larger operations. I worked for Newmont and Barrick and Nevada Gold Mines in the past, and doing tours and bringing people out that had never been to a mine before, and their eyes when they see the equipment and the technology and I had one tour group where we were doing a tour at Newmont at the time, and there were pink blue rooms, out in the field, and they're like, "You hire women?" Like, I'm not the only female that works here. Like, yeah, we hire women, and I think there's just that complete misconception amongst the general population of what we do in the mining industry, and then not only what we do, but then how the industry impacts everybody's daily life. So what I want, if we can impart anything onto people, is like, we need the mining industry for everything we do, and the more that we can get that out there to folks and to the public, to know that, like, if you're out there picketing like anti-mining, but then you've got your, you got your cell phone and you have your car that you drove in and all the things, like, we need mining. So I'm gonna see if I can get this video to play about using gold every day. Yeah, maybe not.
That sounds like a job I would have fun at.
Yeah?
I would love to do tours.
It's so fun. I love doing tours, and they give me a microphone on the bus, and I could just talk on.
I did it in college, I worked for the Indy 500.
Oh,
and so
okay.
I used to take groups and learn about the piece of the car. So that is an interesting tailoring thing that I never thought I would hear today. So that's
Yes.
pretty cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. No, it's incredible, and it's funny because like with public tours, we would offer public tours, and it would just be whoever happened to be in Elko right on any given day. And I had people from London on my tours. I had people from Germany. I had people from like all over the world just happened to be in Elko, and they saw that there was a mine tour and signed up for it. And just seeing, I'm like, and I tell them, we'd give them a DVD about how gold was made and send them home with it. I'm like, please share this with your people and let them know, like, we care about the environment, we care about our people, and yes, we hire women, and we use technology, and we don't have donkeys or any of those things, because I think there are a lot of people out there that think that's how we run gold mines, and it's not.
We get people coming through all the time
From everywhere.
and they want to go on tours of the mine.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
want to tour the mine. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. No.
Here's the map.
Let me
Yeah.
see if we get there.
Just
Don't say I told you.
Just hop 3 times and they'll let you in.
And this is where the closest one is if you just follow this road.
Right. There's a back way here.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
stop you.
Or they're like, can we just drive up there and see?
I know. It's
So-
yeah. I think that's something that we need to do in Elko County at some point, is do something, some sort of, whether it's, with the museum or like a mining park or somewhere at one of our operations that's fairly accessible off of I-80, that people can drive to and not maybe necessarily have to get on property, and where they don't have to follow all the safety things and that type of stuff, and see something, right? See a haul truck drive by, or if anybody's really interested in learning about the industry, Cripple Creek in Victor, Colorado is an amazing town, or 2 towns. So the mine operation is CC&V, owned by Newmont, and they have just that. Like, it's a historic mining district, right? So there's head frames, and there's all the old, mining stuff that they've saved and they've kept there as they've run their modern day mine. But they do tours every single day. And through the end of the spring through the summer when the weather's good, the community relations department there, they have a team. That's all they do. They're tour guides. So they do tours every single day, but then they have parts of the mine that you can access off of like the highways in different parts down there, and they have like an overlook that you can get to from the main, public highway. And they took a truck bed, a haul truck bed, and built like handrails around it and steps up to the top. So then you climb up to it's called the headache rack, which is above the operator up there, and you can look down into the pit. So anybody can do that from any part of the world. So I highly recommend if you're ever there that you take the opportunity to spend some time at Cripple Creek and Victor and to see that. It's for me, being in the mining industry for so long, I had the opportunity to visit twice. And I've never been to a mine site where you can see pine trees from your mine site. We know our trees here, but we don't have trees. But really, really cool district. So, and there's a lot of places, like even, being on the West Coast in general, right? There's a lot of old mining towns that have some pretty cool stuff for mining history, but that's one where you can actually see like a modern day mine from, public roads and not have to do any of that. But I think that's something that it is hard because we don't have anything that's really accessible. Long Canyon right off of I-80 there. But it is tough, and I'm sure people, and they can't just drive on, right, and visit.
Yeah.
But
And they're also confused about what we do in this community. What sustains this community? Why do the trucks have flags? This is the only town that I've ever lived in that you don't actually see the mines.
Yes.
And so there's been
Yes.
times that some of the towns I lived in, they built the towns right underneath
Right.
the mines, and
Right.
so
Yep.
the big smokestacks and everything were just part of your town. kind of
Right.
thing. But
Right.
here you don't see it.
Right.
So they're like, this doesn't look like a mining community.
Right.
It's like 100%. It is. It's just
Yep.
you don't see them.
Yeah, we're off the beaten path a bit. Yeah, like Butte, Montana,
Mhm.
and you go to different, parts of the country that have the mining towns, and like you said, they're built right. And like, I'm not used to that because I grew up here. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, you can see the mine and you can see all the things. So yeah, I think here locally, we need to do better or do something that allows that opportunity for folks to see what we do.
Experience shapes your opinion, right? You
Yeah,
get
absolutely. Yeah.
to feel it and see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we have a long way to go in the mining industry in general, but also locally. What can we do as a mining industry team that can help, get rid of some of those misconceptions of the industry, and knowing that we have mines to run to and not just tours. But I think there's a lot we can do. So more on minerals in your daily life. So, and we talked about it a little bit. So who used something from the mining industry today in your morning? Okay, throw some stuff out.
My phone, like you
Okay.
said.
Your phone, pen,
Drove your car to work.
okay, drove your car to work. What else?
Microwave.
Okay, microwave, computer,
Or soundboards.
yeah, soundboards. What about you, Billy? What'd you use today?
All the things that they said.
Yeah.
all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any coffee drinkers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're, and I'll pass these around.
No.
One more thing. We'll talk about coffee. So glass and ceramic use silica, right? Anything glass has silica in it. It comes from the mining industry. Did anybody brush your teeth this morning?
I hope so.
Hope so. If you didn't, I don't want to hear about it. But for those of you that did brush your teeth this morning, toothpaste contains limestone, so that's a little bit of the grit in our toothpaste, phosphate, gypsum, selenite, fluorite, and dolomite, which are all mined minerals. So I'll pass these around, and we can chat about some of these other ones. We talked about cards, right? Cell phones, computers. Some of the ones that, especially those in the industry, and I put it on there on all of them. It can't be grown; it has to be mined, and that's something that you just want people to understand and realize. Like, if you cannot grow it, it has to be mined. It has to be extracted from the earth in one way or another. Turned our lights on this morning, right when you woke up. So that's the industry. Our coffee, toothpaste. I thought that one. I've never thought about that being something that the mining industry, we need the mining industry for, is our toothpaste. Our vehicles, as we talked about. I remember one time I was flying out of Salt Lake. I don't remember which direction I was heading, but we flew over the Bingham Canyon Kennecott open pit. which I don't know if anybody's had the opportunity to visit the mine in Salt Lake. It's the biggest, it's a really, really big open pit. And people on the airplane are just like complaining about mining industry. I'm like, we're in an airplane! like, we would not be in an airplane without the mining industry. Like, oh my gosh. So it's just having people understand that, I mean, everything we use, everything we do comes from the mining industry and is used by the mining industry. But something on here, if we play sports, right? Your leather shoes, your cleats, use mining industry. The fertilizers that we use for grass comes from the mining industry. Velcro uses minerals from the mining industry, which I learned today. So there's so many things that you think, oh, it's plastic, or it's, it's like that doesn't come from the industry. But can you grow plastic? No. So it comes from the industry. And we really couldn't, we couldn't live our lives the way we're used to living our lives, cell phones aside, without the industry. Really want people to know that and understand that.
Did you know we use things made from minerals and materials every day? Mines in Nevada produce over 20 minerals that are used to make products like smartphones, electric cars, and even beer. Cheers! These minerals are essential to the products we use daily for everything from national security to renewable energy. It is estimated that every person in the United States will use more than 3 million pounds of rocks, minerals, and metals during their lifetime. Today's mining industry is committed to producing the materials our society requires and doing it responsibly and sustainably. To meet demand, mines need employees with a wide range of skills and educational backgrounds. Mining offers rewarding careers in engineering, production, and countless scientific roles, in addition to heavy equipment operators, geologists, and environmental professionals.
So benefits to the state and local communities, just want to talk about that a little bit. So taxes and education. So mining companies, they pay all federal corporate income taxes, county taxes, and state taxes like any other business would have to pay. But we have extra taxes, which is good for the state, and the companies do so. But we have 2 additional specific taxes in the industry: the net proceeds on mineral tax and the mining education tax. So here in Nevada, the net proceeds on minerals tax is a tax on every ounce of gold that is taken out of the ground. The way that it works is wherever that ore comes out of the ground, whichever county it's in, that county is the county that benefits from those taxes. So with Nevada Gold Mines, for example, the Carlin Trend, most of the Carlin Trend operations are in Eureka County. So Eureka County is one of the richest counties in the nation because they have been getting those net proceeds taxes from the mining companies forever. So something that's exciting about my company, Orla, which I'll talk a little bit more about, is we are actually in Elko County. So when we do start construction and operation and mining, those taxes will come back to Elko County, which is fantastic. But I think the Eureka was aptly named, and I don't know, something about the way they designed where the county lines lie. All of the gold in this area has been in Eureka County. Nevada Gold Mines Immigrant Operation, which is on the south side of I-80, south of Carlin, is in Elko County. So when it was in operation, that was going to Elko County. And Long Canyon operation between here and Salt Lake off the side of I-80 is also in Elko County, but neither of those operations are currently running or operating. So that's one tax that we pay in addition to all the other taxes. And then the mining education tax was passed during the 2021 Nevada legislative session, created an unprecedented relationship between the state's education system and the mining industry. So we pay an additional tax that is earmarked to education within the state. So, and a lot of times we'll pay our taxes early as needed for the state. So the mining industry in general goes above and beyond as far as those taxes, the things we have to pay. We pay additional taxes, and like I said, in the legislative session in 2021, added another tax that then benefits our state. As we know here in Nevada, our local, or northeastern Nevada, the population lies in Vegas, right, in southern Nevada. So a lot of what we do up here benefits those folks in southern Nevada. And that's something that we also try to do in the industry. Nevada Mining Association and other groups is help educate the folks in southern Nevada on how helpful the mining industry is to what they do every day as well. So. And then just some photos of some different things that we've done in the industry, whether it's volunteering to do, food. We do that with Orla, working with the hospital, working with the kiddos, participating in the parades, making donations to different entities, whether it's the school districts, the county fair, just, those dollars that go back into our communities. Like Melissa said, she had no idea before getting into the mining industry how many dollars go back into the communities from the industry, whether it is through the taxes and things that we have to pay, and then the donations that we choose to give out. And it's a lot of money, and I know Nevada Gold Mine does amazing things for the community that probably wouldn't be happening in our communities if Nevada Gold Mine wasn't here and giving those donations. So it's a really good industry that really helps Elko and Elko County, and it's not just here. I know, Freeport McMoran, some of these other larger mining companies, right, that aren't necessarily located in Elko, they do the same things for their communities all across the country or the world. And then one more. Some other things that we do are scholarship programs. I know that I think graduation's coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Local scholarships that we give out to students. I know the companies do scholarships for their own employees, but then also community-based scholarships as well. Educational events. So next week is the Mountain View Mining Week. So we have Women in Mining is actually pushing that and doing volunteer activities at Mountain View next week. Gold Fever, which is something that gets hosted every spring with the 4th graders, run by the mining companies. Fossil Hill Field Trips, which is out Mountain City Highway. They do that, and I did that when I was a little kid, and they still do it. There's just fossils galore. It's like they're just there. And so that's run by a lot of the geologists from the mining companies. And then Grammar Number 2 Ag Day, they're hosting something that we're participating here in a couple of weeks, kind of their year-end thing. And I know I think all the schools do things. So we, as mining companies, send volunteers and participate in those events with those students. Career fairs, educational opportunities in the high schools, and then mining tours as well. And then the giving piece that we talked about, just making those donations, whether it's the smaller $500 to $5,000 donations, or the larger 100,000 plus partnership type of donations as well. And then career opportunities, I'll touch on this briefly, but the types of jobs that mining provides, any job that you could find anywhere on the planet, we utilize in the mining industry. So if you're, an accountant, we need accountants. If you're an environmental folks, we need environmental folks. If you HR, community relations, the scientist type people, right, the chemists, right, we have labs that we have people that have like chemistry type backgrounds and educations. There's so many things. I can't think of all of them. Yep, IT, healthcare. Yeah, and people like, for example, I was in the safety and health world when I started in the mining industry. My degree is in public health. And one of my coworkers at the time, she was a nurse. That was her education, that was her background. She was a nurse, and now she's a safety and health manager for one of the Nevada Gold Mines operations. So we can find a job that will fit, I would venture to guess, anybody's background or education. It's just the little world, right? And we need all the things to run our businesses.
What is the best way for people to apply for jobs? Because we get that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Sure. We, as Orla, we don't have many jobs open quite yet. We aren't in our are major hiring, but I can let Melissa speak
Yeah,
to
I
that.
think either the online or the in-person recruiting events. So I know we have one coming up at the end of June in Winnemucca, but we host those events. But we also, if you go online to barrick.com and you hit the careers page, everything is listed there. But I would say if you want to meet and talk to someone, those in-person career fairs are the best places to go. So you can ask the questions that you have. Have your resume ready and show up and talk to folks and tell them what your background is, and they can help you understand which positions you would be qualified for. But I think there's something at every level, whether it's entry level to technical levels for everyone, like Jaymie said.
Same goes for us online. Is the
Online.
best avenue, or drop by the town office and see if someone's there and give them like our business card, and we can reach out directly to them too. So.
Because a lot of them were like, I just want to go there and talk to somebody. And I don't know if that's possible. You really need to apply online.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
they're like, well, I've applied and I haven't heard anything. I said, well, apply again.
Sure. Don't give up.
So
Keep
yeah.
trying.
And I think one of the interesting things that I saw in working with some of the tracking and dashboards that we have is, there's over 20,000 applications at any given time that recruiters are sorting through and looking through. So there is a lot of interest. Nevada Gold Mines does have a referral system. Like if you know somebody that works there, we can do an internal referral for somebody. So if you know somebody who works there and they're willing to refer you, that's another great way to get to know somebody.
And another foot in the door is temp hire.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
the
Yeah.
other
Yes.
suggestion I give them.
Yes.
Is to definitely go to temp
That
agencies.
lets people see you shine when you come in and can get your foot in the door.
Are there temp agencies that you work with more so than other ones, or?
I think there's
I think just the local ones. Yeah, Manpower.
Manpower.
Yeah.
Rangefront has been a new one
Rangefront
for us
has-
too, especially for the technical
Cardinal
roles.
Trend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then something else, Billy, that you can pass along to folks is Nevada Mining Association, their website. They have a link for careers in mining.
Okay.
And so
That's
that's
good to
not
know.
specific to any one company. It's just all of the mining companies that are members of Nevada Mining Association. They
Okay.
put links on their website to jobs that go back to the individual companies. So that if somebody's not specifically looking for a certain company, they just want to get in the mining industry, that's a good place for them to go as well, is NVMA's website.
Don't be looking at the link.
I'm not leaving you guys.
Another avenue would be much like you said, you worked in Vogue for 9 years, and really being a part of the support system can also help you get
Get your
connected
foot
to
in
the.
Yeah,
Good to
they
know.
hired a ton of our drivers away.
Yes, I know they poach people.
They do.
You know,
They're I'm sure,
Yes,
and they're trained everything, all their
Right.
safety stuff is there, and
They know how to get to
and
it.
they know how to drive.
Right, they know where they're
For the
going.
most part, they know how to drive,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yep.
Then there's Rocky, but
Yeah, no, it's something that probably reason people want to go into the mining industry. So this is updated as of 2023 from the NVMA's website. So the average salary in Nevada for a mining role is $108,000, and then compares to the average statewide pay is $61,000. So there's no question as to why people want to come into the industry, right? And then talking to, I think here in Elko County, we understand and people know that the folks in the mining industry make good money. But I have friends that grew up in Elko that now live in other parts of the country, other parts of the world, and they'll tell people that they know, like, yeah, and in my hometown in Elko, you can go operate a piece of equipment and make a 6-figure salary, and people just don't that's just, you can't even believe that when you're from other parts of the country. So yeah, it's great benefits, really good pay, the insurance and all of the things, the retirement benefits, the matches on our 401ks. It's a great industry. And as was mentioned, wishing you'd known that sooner, right? Or that your parents had known that. And I'm so thankful because I was born in Evanston, Wyoming. My dad worked in the oil fields, and he was gone all the time. I don't really remember even seeing him when I was really little. And he had a friend that had a job at Round Mountain and told him, come to Nevada, come work at the mines. And he had an interview at Round Mountain and an interview at Barrick Gold Strike in 1989. He was taking whichever job he got first. I'm glad the Gold Strike went on for him the job first. Round Mountain's fine, but lots more to do in Elko than there is in Round Mountain. But it changed my family's life, right? Paid for you know, much better health insurance for my family, paid for my college, paid for my brother's college, like employed my dad for 30 years, now employs me. It's life changing if you can, you know, realize what the benefits are to come into the mining industry. And then over 41,000 Nevadans currently work in the industry, and directly or indirectly. So we talked about not necessarily working for the mining companies, but all of the support that we have from these different companies within our communities as well. That's just a recap on the jobs. And then how to learn more. So Women in Mining, Nevada Mining Association, as I mentioned, National Mining Association, and then YouTube, there's a movie, Gold, A Journey with Idris Elba. That's a newer movie that's been made about the mining industry that I recommend folks to see. Upcoming events, the Elko Mining Expo will be here in Elko, June 6th and 7th at the convention center. So it's open to the public. Please come say hi to folks, visit, ask questions. They'll have equipment parked out, you know, on the grass if you've not been there before. The stuff that they park on the grass isn't as big as some of the things we have at the mine sites, but at least it gives, you know, people an idea of what we do. So if there aren't any questions, or if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them now. Otherwise, I'll go and do some updates from our local mining companies.
Do you know the mine that's going in north of Winnemucca, the lithium mine?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know when that's supposed to open and start?
I don't. I know they just got their permits and everything, right? So they got the approval to move forward with breaking ground and construction. As far as when it's supposed to start, I don't know. And just knowing from what we do, you know, breaking ground, starting construction, that's a year and a half to 2 years, I would guess, to get that piece done before they're actually mining.
Just trying to build that infrastructure, housing, and,
Yeah.
and such for the employees and the construction workers that they're bringing in. So as you drive through, you start to see some of that off to the side of the interstate. So getting ready.
And another use for the mining industry, right? The batteries need money. But yeah, so that's a great opportunity. It'd be great for Winnemucca and great for that part of the state to have that there. Any other questions? So I'll do an update quickly, and then I'll pass it over to our other folks in the room. So as I mentioned when I first got here, I work for Orla Mining. We are a newer mining company, a junior mining company. So Orla Mining acquired Gold Standard Ventures. Some people may have heard of them before, in August of 2022. And so Orla Mining is the company. The South Railroad Project is the name of our project here in Nevada. So we are located just south. So here's Carlin, the town of Carlin. No, that's not the town of Carlin. There's the town of Carlin. Here's Gold Quarry, Gold Strike. These are the Nevada Gold Mines operations. Here's Immigrant and Rain, and we're just south of Immigrant and Rain. So we can actually see where we're doing our exploration work. We can see Immigrant and Rain operation from there. So just a few miles south of that. Like I said, we're in Elko County. We're looking at an 8-year mine life, so that's what's in the plan right now. Gold and silver operation, and it's the railroad district, so that's where the name comes from, of South Railroad. There's been a lot of confusion. So Don Dwyer, if anybody knows him, he's our general manager, and on LinkedIn, he put like that he started at Orla South Railroad, and so many people think it's a railroad company. And even I thought when I saw it on LinkedIn, I'm like, oh wow, Don left the mining industry. He's gonna go work for and now I'm working for him at Orla. So we're working on that, the branding piece, getting people to understand our booth at the expo. I've got like a big backdrop that's like screams mining. So I'm hoping that helps a bit. We are not a railroad. We are a mining industry or a mining company, but that's the name of it. And there is some historic stuff in that area where they've been mining. They were mining there years and years ago, so that's like a historic mining district that we're in. Like I mentioned, taxes will be generated for Elko County, which the Elko County commissioners, like if we could start tomorrow, they'd hand us a shovel and tell us to get on our way. But currently, so we have about 15 employees here locally. Our office is off of Last Chance Road by Elko Motor Company. And then during the drilling season, which is kicking off this week. Last week, we're starting our drill season. We've got about 70 plus contractors that are working for us, Major Drilling and some other folks that are doing that. So we're looking at estimated 600 contract employees during construction and 300 full-time employees during operation. Ongoing community support. So I'll leave that there. We are in that permitting process, like I mentioned. So our notice of intent packet is planned to go to Reno for review and approval later this summer, and then after they review and approve, then it goes to Washington, D.C. Like I said, the timeline on that isn't 100% clear, but as soon as we get that back, then we can continue to move forward. So we're still looking at, you know, a year and a half out before we can start construction, and you know, a couple years out before we start hiring, you know, the big groups of people. But time goes by quickly, as we know, and we will be in this community and hopefully have a mining company in the near future. So, okay, I will hand it over to Melissa if you'd like to provide any updates on Nevada Gold Mines.
Yeah, I'm just going to pass these around. These are our 2023 community benefit footprint that we put out to the community. It just gives you an overview, and a lot of it covers the same things that Jaymie talked about, you know, the local taxes that are paid in the state of Nevada. In 2023, it was $347 million. So we're definitely, you know, contributing to the economy here in Nevada. Purchasing local is a big initiative for us. So if we can find it local in Elko, local in the state of Nevada, we're doing that. So over $1.5 billion invested in purchasing goods and services here in our own state. Personnel costs, $1.2 billion. So everyone that we're employing, all that money that we're employing folks with, you know, staying here in Nevada, investing in the chamber, you know, benefits to our employees. We try to purchase all those things local. And then, you know, the thing that's my day-to-day is the social investments, working with partners across the state, investing in things that are important to the citizens here in our community, the community across I-80, and even statewide. You know, $18.9 million in partnerships, and you know, we're proud of that. We're proud to invest in healthcare, in education initiatives, environmental initiatives, economic development, cultural heritage. It's really important that we are investing and people are seeing the benefits of having mining in our backyard. You know, we work locally with the schools to bring better facilities, to bring resources to the kids, to have those group sports, music, all those different programs that schools don't fund, to make sure that our kids still have those available to them. So, you know, Jaymie and I have worked together for a long time, whether it was when I was in nonprofit or in the mining industry. We care about what happens in these communities, and we work really hard to build relationships with people to make sure that what we're investing in is what the community wants. When you look at the back side of our handout, we have something that's called community development committees, and I, you know, encourage you that if you're interested in participating in the local committee, that you reach out to us. Our contact information is down at the bottom, community@nevadagoldmines.com. These are committees with local stakeholders, you know, people who are specialized in different fields that come in and help us review applications that come into Nevada Gold Mines. These are the larger applications, anything over $5,000, and your voice is heard. It helps us determine what things we're going to invest in. We just had a groundbreaking for the recreation center. We committed $10 million to the new pools here in the community. The early learning centers that are on the I-80 corridor, bringing resources to the communities for early and late care for your children, so that you don't have to worry about who's caring for your kids when you're going to work. And you know, the thing I think that we didn't talk about is, you know, it is long hours. Some people are working long hours in the mining industry. My husband was an underground miner. You know, they're gone from, you know, 4 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. You know, you have to have that community of support to help you be successful in this industry, and we really want to bring those resources to our community. But there's a few projects highlighted on the back. You know, the Children's Advocacy Center, we just toured there last week with our CDC to see, you know, the investment that the committee made and the impact of that it's going to have for the community here and for children who need those services. So I really encourage you, if you're interested as a community member, you don't have to work for a specific company. You want to be a part of the committee. We meet quarterly. I encourage you to take an active role in the decisions and the investments that we're making from Nevada Gold Mines, because I think you would learn a lot too and make some great connections with the people who serve on the committee. I'm happy to answer any questions, but if not, again, our email's on the back. Comments, concerns, questions, you want to find out about something, you need a connection to another department, feel free to email us. We're happy to help connect you. Thank you.
I will say, I sit on the community development committee. It's amazing. You see the different projects that people are interested in and the dollars that NGM is giving to our community.
Well, like the rec center, like that's
Mhm.
huge.
It's
We were just
huge.
talking about that at the
It's
board meeting this
Mhm.
morning. Like that's huge
The
for our
groundbreaking
community.
is amazing.
And the childcare facilities, they're not just for Nevada Gold Mines employees.
No, they're
kids,
for everybody in the
They're for
community.
everybody. So some really great things that are being done in our communities. Okay, Ken Ross, do you guys have anything you want to say? Sorry.
I walked in late, so I'm so bad. So my name is Nikita Grover. I work for Kinross, Nevada, which refers to Bald Mountain Mine, which is in White Pine County, and then Round Mountain Mine, what you were talking about, which is in Nye County. So we have an interesting footprint in that we spread, Ely all the way to Clark County, and we have quite a bit of work that we do down in there. We've done like playground builds and home builds down there. We've recruited from like less fortunate communities in that area to try to give them an opportunity to come into mining, because like you were talking about earlier, a lot of people just don't understand like the opportunity that it can provide and the life-changing impact that can happen. So that's pretty neat. We actually are growing our external affairs team right now. So now they were a team of 1 and now they're a team of 3, so that's pretty neat. And so we're starting to do a little bit more community outreach in that regard. Last summer we did a playground cleanup at Springfield Elementary. So just kind of noticing some of those projects that we can like pitch in and help. So we went and spent an afternoon and had some families join us, and Taylor and her family were out there, and anything from like pulling weeds to building walkways and all kinds of things like that. So we like to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, like we're in the community, and you'll see our name like on the igloo, for example, and things like that. Continue to do that work, and at the mines themselves we have some projects that are expanding, which is good news, because mining, as you will notice, has anywhere from like a 3 to 5 year mine life at any given time, and that's due to permitting reasons. I'm sure you talked a little bit about that as well. So we're like in the end of our active mine lives at both mines, and so we actually have active permits to extend that, which gives us a potential for another 10 years of mine life, which is really exciting. They're also doing some underground exploration at Round Mountain, which is new for Kinross in Nevada, so some cool stuff happening there too. So happy to take any questions. I work for the HR team, Taylor and I both do. Our external affairs team was obligated already today, but we'd be happy to pass on any questions or give you contact information or anything like that. Yeah, and we're twinning, I see.
Yeah. I know, I noticed the same. I'm like, oh, I didn't get the memo. Okay. Because I have one of those shirts too. I think it's a thing.
I like it.
All right. So in closing, like I said, I have over 16 years in the mining industry. I can't imagine myself doing anything else. At the beginning, I had a photo of myself at this family day, right? That's my dad, and that's when we started at Gold Strike in the early 90s, late 80s. My 2 brothers and my mom, and I have a photo of me by myself holding a gold bar then, and then 30 years later holding a gold bar when I worked for Nevada Gold Mines in one of the refineries. And so gold is this girl's best friend, and it's a great industry. And like hopefully we've imparted some information on you guys that you understand that we do support our communities. Like I said, we don't have any donkeys, we don't have any canaries, is what they used to use underground to test the atmosphere. Such a huge amount of technology goes into everything that we do. So anybody that's interested in technology and that type of thing, like young people going into college or graduating high school, we have so much that they can do, and it's just going to grow from here. Like I said, learning more, and if you guys have any questions, free and open to answer those if you'd like. Well, thank you. Thanks so much for being here today and learning a bit more about our industry. And I've got my business cards here if anybody wants to take one, and if you have any questions about the industry. Like I said, I'm with Orla, fairly new with that company, but I've been in the industry with all of the major mining companies here. I haven't worked for Kinross.
Yes.
Yes, but familiar with how the Nevada Gold Mines operates and the new Mountain and Barrick operations as well. So happy to answer any questions in the future if they come up.
So on behalf of the Chamber, I would just like to say thank you to all of the mining companies that support our events, but not only just support the Chamber events, but support our Chamber member events, because it's hard to go to any kind of fundraiser or any kind of event that you don't see sponsorship by one of the mining companies or all of the mining companies. And so you guys give back in such a great way, so thank you.
Yeah, and if you know of events, that same email on the back of the handout, that's the same place, the communities for communities at Nevada Gold Mines is if you need an application. We don't post them on our website, but if you reach out to us, we're happy to share them with you. So, you know, I think one of the things is it's always hard to know who to get a hold of. So I think that's good when, you know, you can have representatives from all the major mining companies, so then you do have a connection and you know who to reach out to, because if we're not the right person, we'll connect you.
All right. Well, that's all I had. I have a couple of samples. I forgot to pass them around, but something is, so pyrite is, does anybody know what pyrite is? What do we call pyrite?
Fool's gold.
Okay, fool's gold. So that's the shiny thing that people find. So I've got some fool's gold. I've got a piece of gold ore that I can pass around, and then a piece of waste rock. And the interesting thing about the mining companies here now, at least these days, all of our gold is submicroscopic, so you can't see it. So if you picked up a handful of dirt from the ground, it could have gold in it and you wouldn't know. And that piece, like the technology alone that goes into turning that pile of dirt into a bar of gold is outside of my realm of thinking. But it's amazing that's what they do. And people all the time when I've met people either on tours or in communities are like, oh, gold, like, do you just see it? Do you just see it around? Like, no, like it's not just like laying on the ground where you could pick it up and put it in your pocket. Because I'd venture to guess most of the people working in the industry and at our companies have never seen the final product, right? They're operators and they're running a shovel, so they see that piece of it, but they don't, you know, it's the refiners, the ones that are actually pouring the gold into the gold bars, are really the only ones that actually see the gold. And then they have the best job. I'm like, this is so cool. Yeah, it's so cool. But they're hot and they got their big suits on and they probably hate every second of it, and they have to go through the metal detectors back and forth and all the things. But yeah, you don't see the gold until it's poured into a gold bar, or in the lab. You know, they run tiny versions of the refinery in the lab to test some things, so they get to see little tiny bits of gold. So yeah, it's pretty amazing the technology. We're not just picking up like big chunks of gold as we walk around. So.
And we do get crazy when people put dirt in their pocket.
Yeah, yeah. HR gets a little crazy when people try to.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Where I grew up, it's constant gold.
Is it still
Farmers'
constant?
wives have gold nuggets just glued on stumps as earrings. Like it's good for retention.
There you go. Yeah. And there was here at one point. I know that at Round Mountain they have placer. Do they still have? Yeah.
It's pretty neat. I've been fortunate enough to see some of that, which, like you were saying, you know, 99% of employees that work out there don't get to see the full cycle of it, and so it's rewarding when you do get to see it. And I've seen our corporate office has a decent sized gold nugget, which is unheard of nowadays. So it's pretty neat to see it in raw form.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. So I've got a couple of samples. Anybody wants to look at those, happy to pass them around. And other than that, I don't have anything else. So thanks so much for coming today.
Did everybody get their name in for the drawing?
Oh yeah, there's a drawing.
All right, drawing.
You want me to do it?
I do.
Coach Gill.
All right, there you go. We get this
And there's extra copies of the Minerals in Your Daily Life papers, so if you feel free to take those back and share them with your folks in your office or your kids or whoever.
Mining and gold.